I'm AxelMC131 and welcome back to Behind the Blocks in Minecraft 1.11, and I've got another redstone contraption for you guys today, and this is actually another one that I have recently installed on the Salty Dog server, in not near my house, but in town in fact, and this is a throwback to an old mechanic of mine, the Redstone Trading Post. Which was a very simple mechanic that allowed you to throw in any item and it would reward you with a specific item. So it was sort of just a random trading system. Now this is my version 2 setup, and there's a couple of different things. Now this one I have installed in my plot for a player shop on the Salty Dog server in town. And basically the way it works is that you can throw in what we're using as some currency basically into one end of it, and you'll get basically a random item prize. And I've got a couple of different things loaded into it, like coal, melon slices, firework rockets, paper, and random other things like that. And I've been periodically changing them around to add a little bit of random. So it's I've referred to it as my lucky dip stand, but the basic principle is this trading post, and I'll show you how this works. So at the moment I've got this set up where the price is an iron nugget. So if I get an iron nugget from in here, there we go, here's some iron nuggets, chuck one in, and it'll spit out, ooh, a diamond. It'll spit out a randomly selected item. Now I'll just do this a couple of times to show you. There we go, an iron ingot, another iron ingot, let's see what else we can get. More iron, ironic. Coal, and gold, and various other things like that. Now, what you will also notice is that this only works with iron nuggets. If I try and toss anything else in, like gold, nothing happens. It just stays in there. Maybe coal. Nope. And not even diamonds or iron ingots will work. Only iron nuggets. And we'll actually just feed them straight through, which is kind of neat. So, it's a very simple system. It is just an expansion on the old Redstone Trading Post, and it just uses a bunch of hoppers and some droppers, and you will need a comparator. But we'll get to that in a minute, and before that, where I will show you a tutorial, I'm going to show you guys exactly how this works. Okay, so as always, here is our bare-bones skeletal version of the mechanic, and you can see that it's actually not very large. So you can see behind this glass, there's not actually that much to it. There are two separate lines, as often are the case in these setups, but basically it's comprised of two parts. One of them is the item sorter, and this one's actually not loaded, which I apologize for, but I'll do that in a minute. This is the item sorter, which basically says only iron nuggets can pass through here, and you can actually change that to whatever you want to charge people. If you wanted to charge people a whole diamond, if you wanted to charge people, you know, a roast chicken, then you could make it that way, as long as it's an item that's stackable and you have a fair amount of it. And then there's a second line over here which is actually depositing the item, and you can see that with the way we're doing randomization is we've got two droppers, one which actually ejects the item, which by default is empty, and then we also have a hopper that runs into it, and that is loaded from a dropper in the side. So you can load this with up to 9 stacks of items, or if you prefer to just have unstackable items. Obviously if you've got unstackable items then you won't be able to have as many. But this is how I'm doing the randomization, because droppers will always output a random item from one of these slots. So if we've got 3 items in it, we'll choose one of them at random. So that's how it's actually randomizing, so why I'm referring to it as a lucky dip. And there's a couple of other ways that you could set this up to make it more like a vending machine. But for the moment, this is the lucky dip stand. So if I load this up to show you guys, just quickly, this is not my own creation, this is a very conventional creation. Basically, item hoppers will output a signal through a comparator depending on how many items there are in them. Now at the moment I've just loaded this up with 22 iron nuggets, or whatever item you want, and this comparator will output 1 up to that point. It will output 1 level of power. But the moment it reaches 19, so if I drop something else in, and the way that this is arranged means nothing else can fall into this hopper. If I put something else in that hopper, it won't go through, but an iron nugget will go through here. This will get up to 19, and this will suddenly output 2 levels of power. 1 power level will go through here, turn this redstone torch off, and that's basically stopping this hopper from grabbing from above. So the moment that torch turns off, then it allows 1 iron nugget to flow through, and then this goes back down to 1 and turns off, and the torch turns back on, and it just keeps 1 there. So it's a little simple system like that, and you'll see it also when I put an item in. It also sends pulse through this side, which does 2 things. First, it activates this dropper, the loading dropper, as it is, And then after a delay, a time delay, it will then fire the other dropper, which actually launches stuff. So you'll hear 2 clicks. There's none of these, they're loaded. But if I stick this in, there you go. And you can see that this will only allow iron nuggets in as per the other one, but it will also always keep the first one in there, and I think that's just to do with the timing. But if I chuck another one in, it'll start loading them into the chest. Click, click, one in there, one in the chest, and it'll just feed them through. And of course, anything else won't work, because it stays in that hopper, simply because there is no space for it to fall into there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I probably explained it really, really badly, but I hope it makes sense. It's basically just an expansion of the old trading system, but anyway, so I'm sure you guys are probably wanting a tutorial for how to build this, so let's get straight into that. Okay, so this is the space that I have set up to show you guys how to build this, and basically the mechanic itself is an odd shape and size, but since the Lucky Dip stand in the Salty Dog server that I built is in a 5x5 house, basically, and partially underground, I've just set you up with this lovely 5x4 opening so we can set it up in there. Okay, so these are all the blocks you're going to need. Actually, not that much. A wall block just to fill in the walls around it, and then your 2 redstoning blocks, redstone, comparator, repeaters, and a torch. You're also going to need a 2 droppers, and I think 4 hoppers, a chest, and then whatever you're using for your currency. So I'm using iron nuggets in this one. Okay, so let's grab some of our blocks. We also need our hopper and our dropper and our chest to start with to line up where everything is. So you want to go to the space where you want your the machine to be, and you're just going to go to the middle here. Now 1 block to the right is going to be where the dropper is at ground level, pointing up. And then you want to go down here and take that middle block there. You're going to go down 1 and then another one, and you're going to have a chest just sitting there. So basically 1 across and 1 down from the dropper in the middle there. Just a regular chest there. Then we can break those blocks. Then we need to have 3 hoppers. We need to have 1 going into the chest, 1 going to the other side, right? So this won't funnel items in, but this one will try and grab items from above. That's part of how this works. And then the third hopper is just going to sit on top and just go straight down into that one. So that's what your hopper arrangement should look like, as if you need a quick look there. And then we can actually fairly safely fill in the rest of the walls around here. So that's all the detailing that you need. Just stick blocks around like that, and then stick some behind so that people can't get behind it. There we go. So that's all well hidden, and at the moment, even though it's not going to work, that's how it's going to end up looking. And as you could see in the other one, I like to have signs in these places with a cost and then the item that you're going to receive. So let's go and grab our redstoning blocks. So we're going to need our... We won't need the chest anymore. We will need the hopper and the dropper, comparator, repeater, and torch. Okay. So first things first, we're going to set up the item sorter. So we're going to have a set of redstone around this hopper. Now, we need to put a block to one side and have a comparator that comes off this hopper. This is the one that points into nothing. Or the middle one, if you're keeping an eye on them that way. We're going to have a comparator with 1 redstone dust coming out the side, and then we're going to go another block across and down, like that, and put 1 redstone dust on there. Then we're going to go down and back in, and we're going to have a repeater there, going across. So that will be powered when this redstone dust is powered. And then we're going to stick another block there, put a torch underneath. So that torch is there underneath that hopper and stopping it from grabbing items. Okay, so now that you've done that, we're going to set up the system over here. So first of all, we want to put in our our last hopper, rather, and then the dropper, which is going to go into the back of that hopper like that. So that one's, if this ejects an item, it's just going to go straight into that hopper, and then it's going to flow into there. Okay, so we can break that block there. We're going to go across 1 here and put another redstone repeater there. And then we're going to go up with the repeater and go across 2 like that. This time in our other color, because this is where the lines break. And then 1, 2, 3. And we want to have a block there. And we're going to be powering that block. And by powering that block with a repeater, no less, we will be powering the dropper in here. Okay, so we're going to need 2 repeaters in this point, and one of them leave at its default tick, and the other one set up to 4. And that gives a long enough delay that this will fire, send an item through here, into there, and then that dropper will fire, and it'll eject out. And then we're going to just have 2 pieces of redstone dust across there, and 1 more there to make sure that this dropper is actually powered. Okay, so that's all the redstone work. There's one more thing that we need to do, and that is load the middle hopper, or the sorting hopper, with our pricing items. So let's actually just grab that. Now you're going to need 22, in case I didn't make that clear earlier. It doesn't actually matter how you arrange it, but it's sensible to have 18 in the first line here, so you can see that this is already producing power. So if I just go all the way up to 18, there we go, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and that just, whoops, and that just stops anything else from flowing through. You can see I actually accidentally flicked it there. There we go. That just stops anything else from flowing through, and of course if you add one more, it fires the system and then drops one nugget, and it goes through there. Excellent. So now that you've done that, we could load this up with some random shiz. Let's just grab some stacks of stuff and put them in hoppers, droppers, redstone, clay, cobblestone, logs, why not? And then, hang on a minute. Let me just clear this out so it makes a little bit more sense, and then grab a fresh set of nuggets. Whoops. There we go. So now, if we go up here and we throw an iron nugget in, it'll select a random item from the dropper, the first dropper, and spit it out through the second dropper. There we go. Oh! There we go. And you can just keep going for as many iron nuggets as you happen to have. And again, because of this sorting system, anything else will not work. Only works with iron nuggets, as you can see. Everything else is rejected. Now, there is one more thing that I want to point out about this, which is try to insert coins one at a time, please. That's the best way I can say it. If you put several coins in at once, it kind of messes up. So if I get like 4 coins and I just try and chuck them all at once, it'll try and fire, but it'll basically disconnect itself and then stay on, and they'll all flow through, but nothing will actually come out. And what you end with is a bunch of items sitting in this second dropper without actually being fired. So please insert coins one at a time, and that's something that I have noted on the Salty Dog server. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today, so I hope that you have enjoyed the system and that you'll certainly have a go at setting them up yourself. And I think I might make some other developments, like the vending machine that I mentioned earlier, because that could be quite fun. But we'll get to that in a later video. But for now, guys, if you enjoyed and liked, then please leave a like. If you want to see more, then subscribe and stay tuned. And please direct all thoughts, questions, and feedback to the comments below. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. I've been AxelMC131, and I'll see you next time.